Welcome to the StatCookies video series, Learn Statistics with Cookies. Topic 1, Central Tendency and Variation. We're going to cover two concepts in this video, central tendency and variation. These are two concepts at the basis of all of the statistics that we will cover in this course. The central tendency represents the most likely value from a set of values, or the most representative value, or sometimes called the middle value, whereas variation represents how much the data spreads out and how representative the central value really is. So let's say we've got this pile of chocolate chips and we've taken them in different samples. Some of our samples are just a couple of chips, some of them are a whole bunch of chips, and what we want to know is what's the shape of this data. So the central tendency tells us that most of our samples have about this many chips, have 6 chips each. We're going to see this in a little bit more detail later. The variation tells us that this is how much the data spreads out. Let's take a look at central tendency first. We have 3 different methods of measuring central tendency. The mean, which we use when we have numerical value, and we are going to see how to do this in detail with our cookies, the median, and the mode. The mean is used when we have ratio or integer numbers. These are numbers that can be divided. We're going to add up the total number of chocolate chips in all of our cookies, divide by the number of cookies, 5 in this case, and that gives us 6.6 chocolate chips per cookie. That's our mean value in this particular small sample of chocolate chip cookies. The median is used with integer or ordinal values. Now, integer values, again, can usually be divided, but not always. Ratio numbers can be divided. Integers might be whole things that we aren't going to split up, like whole cookies or whole chips. Ordinal values are things like rating systems: best, second best, third best, excellent, good, mediocre, poor, that kind of thing. The median is less distorted by outliers than the mean. So even though it can be used with integer or ordinal values, it can also be used with ratio values, and it can be a good choice if you have a lot of outliers. So to do this, to calculate the median number of chips, we line up the cookies in the order of the number of chips and pick the cookie in the middle of the line. So in this case, the median value is 7 chips per cookie in this particular sample. Now, we can use the median with numeric values, but it is more common to use it for ordinal values. And these are values, as I said before, that include ranking and rating. And this makes sense when you think about it. How could you average excellent, good, and okay as an example? So here I'm going to calculate some cookie quality values. Let's say I've done a survey. And after I'm done, I can add up my numbers to find out how many measurements I had, how many observations. And I have 8 observations overall. But how am I going to take an average here? That can't really be done. What I'll do instead is count in to the median value, the middle value, just as I do with the cookies, half of the total measurement. So the total measurement here is 8, 1/2 of that is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the median value. So the median rating of these cookies, this cookie quality, is good. I can also do this across categories. So let's suppose I have 3 different kinds of cookies: chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, and frosted, and what I want to know is what is the median rating across all of these categories of cookies. So again, I take a bunch of samples, I add up the number of each rating to find out how many observations I have. I have 21. So half that I'm going to count in 11 observations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And again, that means that the median rating of all of my cookies, regardless of type, is good. But I could calculate separately, as you can see, and I could have a different median value for each of these subtypes of cookies. So I have 6 ratings for my oatmeal raisin cookies. Their median value is also good, but I have 7 ratings for the frosted cookies, and their median value is poor. Despite this, the overall rating for the entire set of cookies is good. Now, the mode is the simplest kind of thing to calculate. It's the single most common value. You can use this for numerical data. For example, here I've grouped the cookies by the number of chips. We pick the largest group, 7. That's the mode. That's fine. Now, most of the time, we're going to want to use the mode with categorical data or nominal data. So in this case, we have 3 different types of cookies: chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, and frosted. And we will group the cookies by type and then pick the largest group, and that is the mode. So in this case, the mode is frosted. Note that the mode is not 5. It doesn't matter how many are in the mode. What matters is what is the nominal category or type of the largest group. So let's compare these measures of central tendency, again using our cookie examples. When we collect the same sample that we've been using of 5 cookies and array them against a number line, we can see that our mean value at 6.6 doesn't actually touch any of the cookies, but tells us the mean number of chocolate chips per cookie. Our median value, the middle value of the group, is 7 chips per chocolate chip cookie. And our mode, the largest number of cookies, is also 7, not 2. It doesn't matter how many cookies we have in the mode, just that this is the largest group of cookies.